in politics, very close relation with the Speaker himself, who is currently outside the country. And we understand the leadership of Parliament that on both sides may go to the house of the former First Lady, together with some leadership of the parliamentary service at Rage, where she was prior to being rushed to the hospital this morning, where she had an emergency. So, Daryl and MF, that is the situation in Parliament. Really somber mode here since the news broke out before midday. So many people really distraught about the passing of Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings, who has gone to meet her maker at 76 years.
Right, thank you so much, Kweku. But away from Parliament, we shall now take you to the residence of the, now we can say, late former First Lady, Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings. And Kweku, you want to stay with us right there in Parliament and bring us update from there. But Fatal, if you can hear me, quickly report from her residence.
Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings. And this afternoon, as we got here, a number of vehicles began to troop to this particular area. We are unable to confirm as to who were those people who came here, but I have counted about 6 vehicles coming to this particular place. And as I speak with you, some other vehicles are entering the house at this moment. We've tried to speak with some of the people here to confirm to us as to whether this is true. They were tight-lipped as far as this particular issue is concerned. But as I speak with you, a number of people are still coming here following this very issue. But let me just paint a picture to you. Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings, she is a very popular political figure here in this country. You remember, she setting up the 31st, December Women's Movement. She's the president, I must say, and then also the presidential candidate of the National Democratic Party. She played a very critical role in Ghana's political space, participating in almost everything. I mean, we've seen her in the public, space for some time. At the Jubilee House during the funeral of the 8 who lost their lives during that helicopter crash. We saw her there laying some flowers. Apart from that, we saw her in Kumasi as well. But today we're picking up information that she has passed, and there was some activity here. But as I speak with you, some of the individuals who have come have left, but some other people are still coming here following this very tragic situation. But we were told that this happened today, this dawn, that she was taken to the Rich Hospital, where she unfortunately lost her life allegedly. We are yet to get the confirmation. So Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings, she is very, very important. Also was very important in Ghana's political space, doing so many other things in contributing to Ghana's political space. So this afternoon, some people are still coming here, but we do not have a confirmation as to whether we do not have a confirmation as to whether she has passed, but we're seeing a number of people coming here. I've seen about 3 V8. I've counted about 3 V8 entering the house. There are a number of security personnel here too. Some military officers are here manning the entrance of Rawlings's house. We spoke to them. They did not want to say anything in relation to this, except to say that, in fact, we asked them questions in relation to this, but they wouldn't say anything, but said that, they are yet to also get a confirmation as far as this issue is concerned. But we're here still manning, or we are stationed here to know what exactly is happening in relation to this. Some dignitaries are trooping to this particular place at the moment, but now it's a bit calm now. It's a bit calm now. Some other people who have come here have also left, but it's been a very tragic day, I must say, as far as this issue is concerned. Let me just give you a bit of information.
How life was there at the residence of late former First Lady, and as you can see, there seems to be some activity going on there. He mentions that some vehicles, it's unusual, right? To see vehicles going in and out.
But
It
not
tells
very
you that
unusual that security personnel will not answer
disclose. But obviously, there's something going on, something not right, and that's the news we are.
Daryl, is interesting
today.
because it's quite close to the Ridge Hospital, and then we're going to be learning or finding out from Fatal because he'll be able to go to the Ridge Hospital.
The Ridge Hospital
bring
too.
Some information as well from that place. But one of the things we may later confirm would be whether the vehicles that have come in and out are allowed to go inside the premises.
The premises
building, of course. Because when a news break like that, of course, people who are driving around can take detours around. But what would matter is whether they have an access into the main house of the late former First Lady. But it's interesting because I saw her at the dossier, just some...
Very devastating. I mean, nothing prepares you for news like this, right? As you mentioned, she was recently at the dossier, the funeral of the late Asante Hima. We also saw her when we buried the what we call the gallant aid, the people, the officials who lost their lives in that tragic helicopter crash. And it's so unbelievable to hear that she has passed away. I mean, nothing prepared us for this news, but that is information we're receiving at this point. And guys, bear with us. Usually during circumstances like this, you want to wait for the official confirmation, but obviously news goes out. And so like Kwaku Asante pointed out, there's already chatter in Parliament about her passing away. And like he also pointed out, the MPs currently discussing a visit to the residence of the late former First Lady. But like he also says, she's made an impact in politics and in society as well. You can't begin to talk about the NDC, PNDC era, her association with the late former President Jerry John Rawlings and their contribution to democracy here in the country. I'm sure we'll be hearing so much from historians and people who have followed them closely. But this is the devastating news. This Thursday afternoon, we lost a former First Lady, a towering figure at that, Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings, MFR.
Definitely. Do you want to stay with us? Because we shall definitely be taking you back to her residence. We shall as well take you back to Parliament. And of course, if you did stay with us, we shall take you maybe back to the Jubilee House, where we're learning that some family members of the late former First Lady have made their way to the Jubilee House. Maxwell is there for us, and when we can, we shall bring you all of that as well. But we're talking about...
Yeah, I was just saying, we're just showing you her residence right now and the activity going on. Earlier, there was increased activity. I'm sure at the time when the news broke, there were vehicles trooping into the residence. We're keeping our eyes on there. Fatal was telling us that a number of people have been to the residence. He can't really tell who was there, but we're keeping our eyes there for you. So we want to go back to Parliament. Our parliamentary correspondent, Kwaku Asante, is there for us as we talk a bit about her impact in politics.
Well, Kwaku, if you can hear me, have you picked up anything as well from individuals in Parliament? And then we can go on as well, talk about her political career. I mean, I will take it back to 2011 when she was hoping to be the flag bearer of the NDC. But quick, if you can hear me, bring me some updates if you're engaged with some of the members of Parliament in Parliament.
And in fact, in her very heydays as a very serious politician, she formed the NDP and she wanted to sponsor candidates to come to Parliament on the umbrella ticket of the National Democratic Party that she founded. And until her death, she did not vacillate in terms of leaving that political tradition behind. She stayed true to that because she believed ultimately that she had broken out with the now governing NDC. And as we know now, the family are going to go and inform the president or the presidency of the passing of Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings. And ultimately, we expect that this perhaps will be a state burial. One MPP MP just telling me now that there is no two ways about that. That when it comes to Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings, there ought to be a state burial. And so we're going to get details on that pretty shortly. The minority holding a news conference just behind me on a couple of issues. As soon as you're done, we're going to go and speak to a lot of them. But But because they held a very, very close relationship with Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings prior to, or in fact, after her breaking up with the National Democratic Congress and going on to form her own political party, there are a lot of people behind me who say they are devastated by her loss. And she stood out for quite something profound. She was the first lady of the Fourth Republic, having served as first lady for at least 11 years under Jerry John Rawlings, when Jerry John Rawlings was the leader of the PNDC, prior to the transitioning to democracy and forming a new political party, the NDC, that ultimately won the 2020 the 1992 election, I should say. And we'll get some members of parliament and get some understanding of what they make of this very tragic incident that has just befallen the country this morning. A lot of things being getting to know that Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings had been rushed to the hospital. She was unwell, and then suddenly she has lost her life. It's a big tragic news. In fact, as soon as I entered the coffee shop, a few MPs who had arrived at the time were distraught. They were shocked that this is something that had just happened that morning, and a lot of them hoping that was way before. In fact, at the time they told me that, and I relayed that to the news team, there were so many of them who were not willing to go to the record in terms of what they were able to learn, because they thought this was all a hoax and that ultimately she was unwell. Because in fact, there are those who are telling me now that the record that she hasn't been very well has been very known to them, and they knew that she wasn't very well. And so having heard that she had been rushed to the hospital, they expected that some good news would come out of it. There have been a couple of events in Parliament, in particular since the start of this year, and she is such a regular attendee when it comes to national state events in Parliament. Whenever the budget is read, if anybody is not there, Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings will be there. When the president comes to present the State of the Nation address, she is there. Every ceremonial event, and she will be there because the former President Rawlings is not there. She represents the family. She represents the former family very well. She also had a daughter who serves in Parliament, Senator Agyeman-Rawlings, who's been serving for quite some time now, the MP for Korle Klote. So she has such a unique tie to Parliament, although she herself never did anything in terms of elective politics. Prior to 1992, for a long time, she was head of the 31st December movement. The husband was elected president, transitioning from military rule, became first lady up until she contested for president in the 2008 election when she broke away from the NDC. Subsequently, a party contested on the presidential ticket for several times, but she wasn't the one. And because of ill health, because she has grown a little bit and she was not involved in active partisan politics. So it's such a big and devastating loss for so many people who have gotten to this point and think that this is something that must happen. We are going to go back here and try and see if we can speak to a couple of New Patriotic Party MPs about this situation that has just happened and what they've made of this, given the very tragic nature of this situation. And so when we speak to some of them, we'll get in terms of what they make of what has been a really tragic situation. So speak to a couple of them who have just gone out here to have some meetings in Alhaji Habib's office and all that. Let me bring in the
on your screen, of course, now you can see my colleague Kukwasam trying to get some of the members of Parliament to at least share their thoughts on this particular news that we have just been breaking to you. Yes, but a little later, we shall as well engage with Owusu Bempah, who is currently a member of the NPP, but you recall that at the time she broke away from the NDC and formed her party, the NDP. Well, I'll bring you that later, but let's take you back.
I held a press conference where you were endorsed Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. You're forming a group for that. But I want to take briefly how you heard about the passing of the former First Lady and your reaction to it.
I just heard it around midday, and we informed that it happened around 9 o'clock in the morning. You know, Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings, I can put it quote unquote, a tidy girl because of Rawlings. You know, Rawlings actually lived in Takrady. And
I've heard about the bean store.
Fantastic, yes, 1111. So on several occasions I've met her and we've talked about Takrady. In fact, I think the last time I met her and we spoke at length was at the Takrady airport. We also know that for Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings to come together with Rawlings, I believe that it didn't face any opposition from Mrs. Rawlings, Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings. And therefore, it was a shock for me to actually hear this news this afternoon. In fact, the last time I saw her on TV talking about her connection with the Asante Hen and their funerals and stuff like that. So for me, looking at her age and how active she's been over the period, I mean, I'm very shocked that she's passed away. But you know, God gives and takes. So sometimes we don't have the power to question the will of God. We believe that it would definitely give the bereaved family some cool hearts for them to go through this painful period.
Including your own colleagues, Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings, who you served with. We know that the former First Lady was such an active participant. Whenever there were state events in Parliament, she was always here.
Yes,
budget.
That's very correct, like you know. And you know, her daughter also joined us in Parliament. When I was leaving Sisfom, that was when her daughter came to Wesley Girls. So we also, the military parade she was in and stuff like that. But I believe that Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings had really been a force in the politics of Ghana from the 31st December Women's Movement and the way he actually conscientized the Ghanaian women to do so much for themselves. And then you also know the interstate succession law, which she championed and has become a model law that has supported a lot of women, especially that are married and bring out families. So I believe that she made her own contribution to the development of this country. That can never be taken from her. We believe that the NDC and its own party that he formed along the line will come together to give her a befitting burial and funeral, deserving of an Ashanti royal.
Thank you very much. Member of Parliament for Takoradi, you've heard him. Just reiterate what some of the MPs have been telling me about a state burial and a befitting burial for someone that was more than she was a royal. She had such close relations with a lot of people. So as some of them come out, I'll talk to some of them. Let me talk to Honorable Asante briefly. Honorable Asante, again, I know you've just held a news conference where you are endorsing Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
That's right.
But I just want to take a brief reaction. You've heard about the passing of Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings. She was such a towering figure in Ghanaian politics. How did you hear that? How did the news come to you, and what have been your reactions?
You know, first of all, let me express my condolences to the family and also to our very honorable and distinguished colleague, Honorable Zaneto Rawlings, for the passing. I was actually not ready to speak until I get confirmation, but all over the media space, I'm seeing that, you know, it's actually an information that is confirmed. And it's a very sad loss for our dear nation Ghana that 5 years down the lane after losing, you know, former President J.J. Rawlings, you know, Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings is also going to join her husband with all the experience and exposure and, you know, the political astuteness. I think Ghana is a loser. I believe that this is what we will say for now until we hear from the family. Then I believe that we'll be able to make any additional comments.
I mean, just reflect on her life. She was such an astute stateswoman. Whenever there were budgets, State of the Nation address, she always showed up. She was always involved in all national events. So, I mean, what are your reflections on the life she lived from 31st December movement right to breaking up with the NDC, forming NDP? She was ubiquitous. She was everywhere.
I mean, she was a very strong woman, as you know. I think the last outing I saw of her was at the funeral of the Asante Hema that I saw her, and I think I saw her at another program, and I think it was a dinner. She was sitting next to former President J.A. Kufuor, and you could see that she was bursting with life and looking forward to continuing to help our nation to grow. And I think that, like I said, at the right time we will speak, but this is a sad loss for our dear nation, and my condolence to the family one more time.
Thank you very much, Honorable Santampuli. You've seen MPs file out of this news conference that they were just addressing, endorsing Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to lead their party into 2028 election. But a lot of them struck by the very tragic passing of the former First Lady, the first Lady of the Fourth Republic. And they are just talking to us about what a brilliant life she lived, her ubiquitousness. She was all over the place. Whenever there were national events, you will see her there in her uniqueness. For past few years now, she has stayed out of the limelight, not very controversial, not taking very controversial positions, not speaking about a lot of national issues, just attending national events and playing her role as the stateswoman that she was and she is up until this morning when she tragically lost her life. So we're just going to leave the Justice Center building. We are going to go to the chamber building. The bell has been rung. We expect that perhaps this will come to the attention of Parliament. Maybe a witness, a 1-minute statement will be done and all that. We'll get some understanding of that, but we need to go back to the chamber building where we expect a lot more members of Parliament, particularly from the NDC side, where her daughter, Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings, has been for some time now, MFI in Dario.
Where we talked about how active she was, a force to reckon with, a very courageous woman for that matter. That's the one we've lost this afternoon. And we've got some new information to report from the Jubilee House MFR.
Absolutely. We can confirm to you that her daughter, Konadu Rawlings, who is MP for Korle-Klottey, together with her brother, Kimati Rawlings, and as well Bevlo Lati, who is currently a special envoy to the Alliance of Sahel States, have just reported at the Jubilee House and have as well told the president. And so
that's her in
that's on your screen now is the daughter of the late Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings and as well the late Jerry John Rawlings, together with the family, Kimathi and Bevulati, at the presidency of, the
looks like they are just leaving the presidency. Yes. We are told that they have officially informed the president, John Mahama, about her passing. She was there with her brother Kimathi and, like MF pointed out, Bevulati. And so those are the latest shots from the presidency, the Jubilee House, where we are told that the president has been officially briefed about the passing of Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings.
Right, Darryl, we shall now take our viewers back to the residence of the late Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings. In a minute, when we have that, we'll bring you. But Fatau is on standby. Definitely 2 places she can go to after telling the president, right?
Yes.
Either the residence or back to Parliament.
Yeah.
But I anticipate it will be the residence. Going back home, of course, traditionally in Ghana, if a person would pass like this, you'll be back home receiving visitors as well, of course. So I wouldn't be surprised if
should be pretty hard on the family, as you'd expect. I mean, people think that she took her partisan gene from her late mother, Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings. I'm talking about her daughter, who we are just seeing in her in our shots right now. We can go to the residence of Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings, where Fatau is right now. What's the latest you can report, Fatau? Fatau, if you can hear me, what's happening where you are? All right, not too sure if Fatau can hear me right now. We'll just await the connection to him. But he's currently at the residence where we expect that...
he's on?
Right.
The daughter of Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings, Senator Rawlings, came in just a few minutes ago, accompanied by about 3 other vehicles this very afternoon. And apart from that, a number of other vehicles are trooping in here to the residence of former President Jerry John Rawlings. Many individuals are coming in here. As some vehicles are going in, others are coming out. We are trying to get a confirmation from them at this point, but they wouldn't allow us close to the entrance of the house. But what I can tell you now is that so many vehicles are trooping in here at the residence of former President and late President Jerry John Rawlings. Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings she is a politician, a business woman, president of the 31st December Women's Movement and founder of the National Democratic Party. Konadu has been a very popular figure in Ghana's political space, contesting in presidential elections over the period. We told that this morning, this dawn, she was taken to the Rich Hospital, and unfortunately she passed on. So as I speak with you, another vehicle is going in there. This vehicle has been going in and out of the house, but where we are stationed, we are unable to get close. But there's an indication that something is definitely wrong in there, because so many vehicles are going in and out of the residence of the former President Jerry John Rawlings. And in November 2020, Jerry John Rawlings himself passed on, and about 5 years following his demise, his wife, we are told this afternoon that she has also passed on. More on the late First Lady. The last time we saw her in the public space was at the Jubilee House, where she went to lay some flowers following the death of some 8 gallant men who died in that helicopter crash in the Ashanti region. And apart from that, she also traveled to Kumasi following the demise of Asante Hine's mother. But today, it looks like her journey has also come to an end, because this afternoon we're picking up information that she has passed on. More on her, the former First Lady, as we all know, she was very, very instrumental. I mean, I would say that she was one of the most vibrant women politicians here in this country, participating in almost everything as far as Ghana political space is concerned. I mean, wife to late President Jerry John Rawlings. Her daughter, a few minutes ago, came in here with about 3 other vehicles. We do not really know what is happening in there, but so many people have gone inside the house at the moment. We tried to go in, but the military officers who are stationed here would not allow us to go inside. We tried to talk to them just to, get our information in relation to this particular development, but they were not willing to relay information to us. They told us to be calm, and that if anything, or if there's anything, later we'll get to hear about that. But a number of vehicles are still at that far end. I can see another vehicle trying to make way into the house of, Jerry John Rawlings' house, where we are told that his wife, Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings, has passed on. So this is the situation at the moment, but we are still monitoring every development, and whatever happens here, we would come back to you and let you hear all the things that would transpire here as far as this particular development is concerned.
Well, thank you so much. Fatal Bayaga is our man, right stationed at the residence of the former late First Lady, Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings. But if you do not believe anything at all, we've got the statement from the presidency confirming the passing of the late Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings. Now, it says that passing of Mrs. Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings, government announces with deep regret and profound sorrow the untimely passing of former First Lady and founder of the 1st December Women's Movement, Her Excellency Mrs. Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings. Now, she passed this morning after a short illness. Government extends its deepest condolences to her immediate family, and the statement, of course, is signed by Felix Kwachifu's spokesperson to the President's Minister, Government Communications. And we have just also been telling you that her daughter, as well as her son, Kimathi, and Bevlo Latte, were at the Jubilee House to tell the President about this sad news now, Darren.
Wow, if you're waiting for official confirmation, there you have it. Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings dead. Official confirmation from the presidency announcing that she passed away this morning after a short illness. I mean, now it really hits.
Yes.
That's
sad. I mean,
she's no more.
For some people, when a person passes, they will take a day or two before it hits them later. But for some people as well, they have very profound personalities that it will hit you immediately. Now, of course, because of her elegance, I definitely will miss her for her elegance.
We all remember her, Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings.
Of course.
I always remember when it was 6th March, we were all waiting for what she was going to wear, because she came with such elegance and she had such presence, and she was admired by all.
I also admire the bravery, of course, because one would have thought that she would have loved to stay a first lady or a former first lady. And so when she attempted to want to be the flag bearer of the NDC in 2011, when that didn't work out, I like the boldness with which
that she thought she could be president of the country was, I think, a real inspiration for women aspiring to take up that position. So there you have it. It's just taking us a while to get the news to sink in, but Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings is no more. Just a brief about her. She obviously passing away at the age of 76 years. Occupation, a politician. She's also wife to the late former president, Jerry John Rawlings, MFA.
To stay there a bit, 76, because in nearly 3 weeks would have been her birthday, 17th of November.
Wow. And then she would have been 77.
Yes. 17th November would have been her birthday. And
what we are seeing, MFI, is an end to an era in Ghana's politics. These two people, the late Jerry John Rawlings, now his wife, the late Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings, they are no more. What an impact they made in Ghanaian politics. Let's look at her educational background. So basic education at the Ghana International School. She attended Achimota School. We've heard people make a lot of noise about both of them because they were in Achimota School. And she got a degree at the University of Science and Technology. I guess it's KNUST now. Also, she had a diploma in interior design at the London College of Arts, also a diploma in advanced personnel management, Ghana Management Development and Productivity Institute. And so that's educational background.
Explains the whole elegance with which she puts the fashion sense.
Exactly.
Design.
There's some creative aspect of her. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense now. Her political career. First lady, I'm not too sure if we have to go.
Give me a minute, of course, we'll come back to her profile, but we shall now take you back to Parliament where we're learning that a Parliament has adjourned. But you want to stay with us if we have that one?
We'll head right back to Parliament, right? Let's take a look at her political career, MFA. First Lady of Ghana, 1979, 1981 to 2001. Also, first Vice Chairperson of the NDC, 2009 and 2011. Also, she was a presidential aspirant, as we're talking about, in 2011. Of course, that didn't go as expected, and that's when she decided that she wanted to start her own political party. So, first woman to run for president 2012. She was hoping to break the glass ceiling, and of course, she didn't succeed at that, but I'm sure it was enough motivation for women aspiring to be president one day. Also, National Democratic Party leader, 2012 to 2024, NDC presidential aspirant, 2012. Let's take a look at the next slide as we look at her political career. President, 31st December Women's Movement, 1982. We would never forget the 31st December Women's Movement. She founded it. She was actively engaged with women. I bet in the coming hours we'll be gauging the mood of some of the people she worked with in the 31st December Women's Movement, and how she was able to gather the grassroots, the women, the market women, rally them. I can assure you
that one of the persons that when we get to talk to would tell us more about the 31st December Women's Movement will be the presidential candidate for the CPP, Akosia Frempoma, because they did this together, and she tells me what they went through galvanizing women during the Kalabula era, Kalabuli time, and how they encourage women to actually take on trade, literacy as well, and as well child development. And so I wouldn't be surprised if women, especially like herself.
Oh, there's a lot to talk about when it comes to the 31st December Women's Movement. Popular quotes. One, my desire is to see the emancipation of women at every level of development to enable them to contribute and benefit from the socio-economic and political progress of the country. Would you say she accomplished that? Well, she tried. As we talk about the 31st December Women's Movement, to get women to fight for what they believed in and what they wanted. And so the Beijing conference, she led it, I'm told. It's incredible, her contribution to women emancipation and ensuring that they contribute and benefit from socio-economic and political progress of the country. Another popular quote from her: let's continue to champion policies that protect women farmers, initiatives that promote sustainable farming and ensure women in agric is given respect, dignity, and opportunity. So she was all about the women fighting for women's rights, ensuring that women take their rightful place in society. And so these are some of the things we remember her for. We want to get back to our presidential correspondent, Maxwell Agbagba, because he has some news for us, Emefa.
Absolutely. Maxwell, if you can hear me, what can you report from the presidency? Of course, we have just been telling our viewers that Senator and her brother, together with Babdo Latte, had been earlier at the presidency to inform the president. We have as well seen the statement, but what more can you report?
Yes, indeed, just about 30 minutes ago, the children of the former First Lady arrived here at the presidency to formally inform President Mahama of the demise or the passing of the former First Lady. They left the Jubilee House just some minutes ago. What you can see on your screens right now is the Lands and Natural Resources Minister, who is trying to comfort the colleague Member of Parliament, Senator Rawlings, who was part of the delegation that visited the presidency to formally inform President Mahama of the passing of the former First Lady, Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings. We didn't get any word from them, of course. You would understand the times that we all find ourselves, difficult moments for the family, especially for Kimati and Senator. We've seen them many times with their mother in public. Clearly, you could tell, the love that they have for their mother, just like any child, would have for their parent. In fact, in the last outing, we know that sometime in September, last time, we publicly saw the former First Lady who was in the Ashanti region during the funeral of the Asante Hema. And videos went viral, with many commended Kimati Rawlings especially about how he's kept very close to his mother, especially after the demise of his father, that is Jerry John Rawlings, who was husband to the former First Lady. Many of the people who we've been speaking to here have been eulogizing the former First Lady. On a normal day, there wouldn't be much of activity here, but at exactly 4 o'clock p.m., they'll be swearing in for justices of the High Court. So already we have some family members of justices sworn in arriving here. So this visit by the family of the former First Lady has sort of coincided with the swearing in of the justices of the High Court. And those who've been speaking to here have been eulogizing the former First Lady, especially about how active, she was in the political space. Of course, we all know that she was a First Lady from 1981 to 2001. She didn't stop there, got very active in this political space. In fact, becoming the first woman to contest in the presidential elections. That was the 2016 elections on the ticket of the National Democratic, Party, NDP, which, she founded. Indeed, we also know about how she contested former President Atta Mills in 2011. Of course, strained her relationship with the NDC. But in recent times, we've seen her join very close, to the party. So many of the people who've been seen here have been eulogizing the former First Lady, talking about how she worked to empower women, especially with the 1st December movement, which she established sometimes in the 80s. They talk about how that movement also supported women economically. They talk about how that organization also constructed many daycare centers across the country, how it provided skills to women who otherwise didn't have gained those skills like hairdressing, like tailoring, and all of that. So it's all praise for the former First Lady here at the presidency. It is expected that the president will make a short statement on this unfortunate demise. Already, the presidency has released a statement talking about confirming the death, and then also stated that she passed on early this morning after a short illness. It is expected that President Mahama will touch briefly in his speech during the swearing-in of the justices of the High Court. That is expected to happen at exactly 4 o'clock p.m. So we're waiting at the presidency to see how that is going to pan out, here.
Maxwell, we are awaiting the president's comments on this, but based on his body language, what can you tell us about the mood of the president right now, having received the news?
You're talking about the body language of the president?
Yes.
Well, we're yet to see the president. In fact, this meeting between the family members of the former First Lady and the president happened behind closed doors. So we didn't get the opportunity to hear the interactions and be part of that particular meeting. But we are told that it was a very short meeting where the family members formally informed the president about the demise of about the death of the former First Lady. So really, we are yet to see, body language of the president. We're yet to see other things as well. But that would happen at exactly 4 p.m. with the start of the swearing-in of the justices of the High Court. And we are waiting to hear from the president when he speaks.
All right, Max, we'll come back to you when that happens. But we are seeing our shots. Zanato being escorted by Bebulate. I think that was, I'm not too sure, I guess it was at the presidency. You can tell she's showing so much strength at this moment, but I know as we talk about Nana Konadu, about her being a political figure, she was a mother to them. Zanato and her siblings, and I don't want to bring this up, but you lost your mother a while ago, and you can tell she's living through the process, the different phases, the different stages of digesting the news.
Of course, it would be a normal day for her in Parliament, because Parliament has been on recess for nearly 3 months, if not over 3 months, and it just reconvened on Tuesday. And so it would be a normal busy day for a member of Parliament looking into the tons of bills that are yet to be introduced in Parliament. And so if we follow the story as is being told, that her mother was rushed to Ridge Hospital as well, which of course is where I also lost my mother, which I can relate, because that emergency unit is not a place for the faint-hearted, And so from dawn to morning until this afternoon, I can only understand how she feels. Worse off, she's also a public figure. She has a constituency to represent as well, and people are quite unforgiving. We as well will require you to do your job while you mourn a statesperson and also mourn that same person who is your mother. But I mean, at this age, one of the good things you want to talk about is some of the things that it did for the country.
The legacy.
Yes, the legacy. Right up to the Beijing conference in 1995, you'd recall that the 31st December movement was a force to reckon. And when the UN had organized that Beijing conference, they were definitely not going to leave the 31st December movement out of it. And so that played a key role. And many theorists say that after the engagement at the Beijing conference, most of the policies that were championed over there now took expression in some of our laws in this country. It gave a stronger ground to the gender and children ministry as well, as we see it today. Some of her policies, she's not just a first lady who was elegant. She was also a policy maker. We'll continue this, but we'll take you back to Parliament, where Kweku is still engaging some of the members of Parliament.
As we are in the chamber, the news came, but as of now, you probably know better than I do that if it's been confirmed, because at some stage we had a coma, but I'm not sure. But if
the family have gone to the president, the presidency have just put out a statement confirming that the former first lady has passed.
Okay, then you are the one informing me. I should have been interviewing you. Yes, if it is true, that is a tragic tragic news here. I mean, we've all known Mrs. Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings for, not personally, but we have known her through her public life, obviously with her husband, Jerry Rawlings, for quite some time. You know, she's been in the public space pretty much all her adult life. And through that, we have known her. She's a very strong woman, very world woman. She is not a woman who stays behind. She herself has been in frontline politics, you know, obviously with her husband in the 31st December movement, and in her own right as head in a political party, having gone for elections and all that. We know her passion for the country. She was a formidable lady. And it is not surprising that she's done all the things that she's done, including mobilizing. When they talk about all these affirmative actions we are talking about, you know, she's one of the sources where we talk about mobilization of women, you know, to stand up on their own rights and do things for themselves. The NDC party, where she originates from, has really lost one of its greatest women. And we are all saddened by it. In fact, unfortunately, we never heard that she wasn't well. So this must have come suddenly, whatever triggered it. And so we are all in shock. And I'm sure that in the coming hours and days, we will find out more. As you have informed me that the family is going to the presidency, then of course, you know, then that is true. We will have to, and I'm sure that we, in earnest, with my leader, will be mobilizing ourselves when it is appropriate and convenient to pay a visit, you know, to the family to obviously console them. Our own sister, Honorable Zanetta, who was actually in the chamber yesterday to do a statement of which I contributed to in conclusion. There was no sign, or she never hinted me of anything, you know, going on. I'm fairly close to the family, but she never said anything of what is going on. So it must have been triggered, probably, you know, surprisingly, not something that, but it's a sad loss, really, really sad loss. I mean, you know, it brings the memory of His Excellency Jerry John Rawlings, who himself left not too long ago, and for the wife to follow. May the good Lord, you know, bless their souls. And I'm sure that sad as it is, it's an opportunity, if you believe in after life, an opportunity for the two of them to meet again. Unite.
Thank you very much. That is the leader together with Honorable Otni Okwenu. They've spoken to us about this very tragic situation. Parliament didn't sit today for even an hour. It was a very short meeting. Of course, all of these undertones, that was not announced formally on the floor that the House wasn't going to continue sitting today because of that. But everyone knows that the very tragic incident involving Honorable or the former First Lady, Her Excellency Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings, is the trigger for why Parliament has adjourned, sitting less than 20 minutes or 30 minutes. They just laid a few papers and then they left. There are still a few members of Parliament in there. The top has been locked. You would have seen a lot of them still engaged in conversations and all that. The shocking nature of this, MPs talking about himself. Of course, she was a fairly elderly person. She was 76 years, but she wasn't very young. But like you hear the deputy majority leader talk about, it's come as a shock to all of them because there was no news prior to this that the former First Lady has not been well or anything of that sort. And so to just be told today that has happened is quite tragic. I'll see if I can get the second deputy speaker. This tragic passing of the former First Lady. You knew her. I've seen a couple of times when she came to ceremonial events. You went to talk to her. What have you made about this situation?
Like you say, you describe it as a tragedy, and I think it's tragedy in life. It happens when you are not expected. I think we can only wish her soul God's blessings and God's peaceful place, so that the soul can rest
and we wish the family to strength to stand in this tragic situation. I mean, nobody expected, because I think we saw this wonderful woman, I think somewhere last 2 weeks, we saw her around. We saw her in the news. So nobody expected. So it's part of life. We can only pray for her souls. It's something that all of us should be guided. That whatever we are doing, we should prepare. We are all transiting. One day we should all leave. Because there's nothing that one can say. It's very, very tragic.
Your colleague Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings, I mean, whenever you are in the chair, you have a very good relationship with her, and she's in the middle of this very tragic loss. What are your message to her as she mourns this loss?
Yeah. I'm praying for her and the siblings. I mean, they should take this tragic situation in their strides. It's part of life. I pray for God's strength so that they may be able to go through this. I mean, you can't describe it. It's a bit shocking. So we'll meet our sister and console her. We pray for God's blessings and God's giving her a wonderful passage to her own bosom.
Thank you very much. That's the second Deputy Speaker. Honorable Fred Agyeman, yes. You've also learnt about this very tragic passing. What have been your reactions, your colleagues' matter?
It's sad, it's pathetic. Initially, I didn't believe it because not too long ago, I saw our mother in Kumasi when they did the Santima funeral. I saw her at that particular event. There was no indication or any sign of somebody who was sick and who could give in the ghost at this particular point in time. And so when I first heard the news, I didn't believe it. And I had to make a few calls before it was confirmed that indeed she's giving up the ghost. She's somebody that will remember forever and ever. Her contribution to Ghana development, especially our democracy, is something that will not be lost on us for several years to come. Right from the PNDC days, his involvement in mobilizing the women and the affirmative action, the role that she played in it, getting women close and involved in political activities in this country. History and story is there for all to see. I think I shall play her role. If the good Lord thinks that is the time for her to come and rest in his bosom, we can only wish her a restful journey, and also wish the family the very best of luck. All of us be part of the activities and make sure that she's given the befitting burial that she rightly deserves.
Thank you very much. Honorable Fred Agyeman, they're telling me how tragic this loss has been. A few more members of parliament getting out. This has been a rather short meeting, rather short sitting of the House, and not much done because ultimately this is a news that just came in a very shocking manner for them, and that is why they are there. So a couple of them still filing out. I mean, talking to me about the person that this former member, this former First Lady was, and her demise this morning, which has ultimately led to Parliament to adjourn pretty early. So, Daryl, we will still be pitching camp here. I know there are a few members of Parliament in there. I know there's Kojo Ponkrumani in there. There is Samuel Abujinapo. A couple of them still in there. We will try and talk to as many MPs as we can, because this former First Lady was different in a lot of respect. She cut across. She has such a strong base in the NDC, and now has also a very strong base in the MPP. Because of the relationship she had with the former President Akufo-Addo, because of the relationship the husband, former President Agyeman-Rawlings, came to have with members of the NPP. And so there's not a single bad word on both sides. People talking about and reflecting deeply about who she was, what she stood for, that the 31st December movement, becoming the former First Lady, such a profound and strong pillar in Ghanaian politics. A lot of them talking to me. We're going to get a little bit more reaction before all MPs leave here today. And those of you just joining us, you just heard about this tragic news. And because of that, Parliament has had just about 20-30 minutes sitting. It wasn't announced that this is the reason why the House has taken such an abrupt adjournment today. But we all do know that that is the undertone. Their colleague, this is not just a towering figure in Ghanaian politics. It involves the parent, the mother of one of their colleagues, Dr. Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings, who've just seen at the Jubilee House in a very somber mood.
Such a profound and strong leader. Thank you so much, Kwaku Asante. We'll check in with you in the coming hours as and when you have something new to report. Top of the hour, just a quick recap of what we've been reporting so far. Former First Lady Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings has passed away. In the last few hours, we have gotten confirmation from the presidency, a statement from the presidency saying government announces with deep regret and profound sorrow the untimely passing of former First Lady and founder of the 31st December Women's Movement, Her Excellency Mrs. Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings. Mrs. Rawlings passed this morning after a short illness. Government extends its deepest condolences to her immediate family. That statement signed by Felix Kwachio-Fosu, spokesperson to the president, also Minister of Government Communications. You see that on your screen right now. An important timeline to watch MFR at 4 o'clock. We are expecting the president to make a remark, at least when he does a swearing-in ceremony. So we are watching out for that as well. But this is news we continue to digest, the passing away of former First Lady Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings, who would have turned 77, you say, in about 3 months.
She was born 17th of November.
Wow.
Unless otherwise, maybe the family comes to present it.
Very active.
Yes, very active.
You couldn't guess her age because she was all over the place. And like we could point out, was a fatal, which she was recently seen at the funeral of the Dotier of the Asante Hema. But we lost her today.
So you were pitching camp at Parliament, and of course the most important place today would be the residence of the late former First Lady, and still living at the Jubilee House. Maxwell is there for us. You want to stay with us all through. And I was telling you the role that she played. You recall that in the early 1980s, when the PNDC was galvanizing the grassroots. And then there were theories that there were, or reports of inflation, hardship, hunger. She, together with many other women, I already told you, the flag bearer for the 2024 flag bearer for CPP, Akosua Frimpong, together, mostly these two women, took the front line and would go to rural communities to engage with women, especially because healthcare, child advocacy or child growth or development was lacking at the rural communities.